I was hoping to speak to Professor Hasselmann.
Yes, Klaus, kommst du mal?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Is this Professor Hasselmann?
Yes, this is Klaus Hasselmann, yes.
Oh, how nice to speak to you. My name is Adam Smith. I'm calling from nobelprize.org, the website of the Nobel Prize. Well, first of all, many, many congratulations on the award of the Nobel Prize.
Oh, thank you. I'm completely surprised. I can't quite understand it, but I accept it. Okay, wonderful.
How did the news reach you?
I got a call about 10 minutes ago, which my wife took, and she explained that something was going to happen, which I didn't quite understand, and apparently this was this Nobel Prize. So I was quite surprised.
It sounds as if it's come as a real bolt from the blue for you.
Well, it did. It's entirely the bolt from the blue. I'm quite surprised. I cannot understand this. I'll wake up tomorrow morning and find out. Yeah.
The Nobel Committee for Physics emphasised that, with this prize they want to show that our knowledge about the climate is based on truly rigorous scientific foundations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, this has been the basis of your work.
That's right. Yes, I'm a physicist, and I came to climate as a physicist. So this is true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I suppose one of the things that, if there are skeptics out there, they find difficult is that there's a difference between predictions about the climate, which could be made very accurately, and the weather we see about us every day, which changes.
Yes, of course, it's a question of timescales. I mean, everything beyond a few years can be attributed to climate, and it's only when you see it over a few years that you're sure it is the climate change and not just a weather impact.
Mm-hmm. And your own work has very much identified the fingerprints of our activities on climate.
Yes. Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And what do you think is most urgently needed now?
Most urgently needed is some action against climate change. I mean, there are many things we can do to prevent climate change, and there's a whole question of whether people will realize that something which will happen in 20 or 30 years is something which you have to respond to now. And that's the main problem with the climate change ever since. I mean, we've been warning about climate change for about 50 years or so, and it's just that people are not willing to accept the fact that they have to react now to something that will happen in a few years. And this is something we've been sort of battling against now for many years as climate scientists.
Hmm. Does it surprise you that people don't just look back in history and see that the predictions are correct and therefore, it's clear which way we're headed?
Well, it's not that clear because there are so many natural variabilities superimposed upon climate change that it's sometimes difficult to recognize that. I mean, if you have a change over, say, 10 years where things get warmer, you think it's the climate change, but actually it may just be a natural variability of weather, which occurs over several years. And so to distinguish between the long-term climate change and the shorter term of a few months or years that you see on weather changes is sometimes difficult to decide. And you get many people that make all sorts of statements that appear in the press which confuse people. So it is difficult for somebody who's not actually working in climate to recognize that we are actually changing climate until it's become quite obvious.
How do you feel about the conferment of the Nobel Prize and the fact that will suddenly direct a great deal of attention to yourselves and, of course, yet more attention to the problem on which there is already much attention?
Well, I'm very happy that they direct the attention on the climate problem, which is very important. Whether they direct the attention on myself, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Probably not. I forget so many things that the journalists will probably give up pretty soon interviewing me.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think people will be banging on your door for some time to come. Well, it's been a great pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much indeed. And once again, many, many congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. And I really have to wake up and see if this is all true. But it's good to hear from you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
If If you enjoyed this moment, you might also like this special edition of the Nobel Prize Conversations podcast. Adam Smith takes a turn as guest and recalls his favourite moments from these very special calls.